Yeah, I'm back. I wasn't gone too long. I hope for y'all. I am the back, so I am back. I'll give y'all a little bit of time to come on in. Because I really want to finish this discussion. I really want to finish this discussion. Because it needs to be had. And it needs to be had so that it can be put to bed. So that it's over with and ain't nobody else got to worry about dealing with it too much more. If it takes me, Shane TV, East Watch to do it, I guess I'll be the man for the job. But this whole beta male shit needs to be addressed. And the way I do things, I always try to be fair to everyone. So I'm not going to address beta males without addressing their female accusers. Because some of them, as most females would agree, don't have the right to be talking about nobody. Absolutely no right whatsoever. But it's time to get ready to go in. I wanted to share this real quick on a live stream. In Facebook. So everybody will know that I'm on right now. On live. That's all. And once I put this screen down, I'm done. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to continue on the beta male thing just to get that over with because I didn't want to leave you guys like that with a video chopped off like that. So, with a live stream chopped off like that. But the main reason that I'm doing this is because it's needed and it's necessary right now. It's too much division between men and women. And that's why I always put, on my last page, I always had the little comments, gender war, hinder war. I think I'm assuming a Google Hangout to you, Tasha, next week or this coming week so we could do a gender war, hinder war together on live. Because all this shit needs to be addressed. When you have sisters attacking brothers, and you got brothers turning around attacking sisters, that's a problem, man. And that's a problem that we do not need right now. That's a problem that we cannot deal with right now. And that's a problem that will ultimately hinder anything that we think about doing, think about accomplishing. There's no way in hell that we're going to be able to move forward as a people with constant bickering between each other. And most of this shit with the women, seems to come from this beta male mentality. And in the last live stream I did, we talked about beta male in depth as far as let's get some sort of idea of what beta male is before we start commenting on it. What up, Tom? So let's get some sort of idea of what it is, and that's what we did in the last stream. Now, since we identified what exactly a beta male is in a general sense, it's time to attack that. A lot of these brothers are misguided. Now, I know that we joke around a lot about Sinetta and Polite and them people and all them people with this rites of passage stuff. And we joke because it is a joke for them to say that shit. It's a joke for Sinetta, Polite, the Pills, anybody right now that's dealing with that community to even make mention to something called rites of passage. Because we know what they mean by rites of passage is come in and let me control everything you do and say however I want it to because it's beneficial to me. So that's what their rites of passage means. But in a real sense of rites of passage, that's a lot of reasons why we have this beta male epidemic right now. There is no rites of passage for these brothers. As a black man in this society, you try to grow up and have as much bravado, as much swagger, as much confidence in yourself as you can. But you and I know, all of us know that these people systemically set up ways to break down our manhood and our masculinity. And so, not saying that no excuse to let it happen, because that's not an excuse. What I'm just saying is it's a reality. So, with that being a reality, you guys are going to have to come to grips with with that. It may work on some people. It may work on a lot of people. Their games, their systemic racism, their calculated moves to demasculate or emasculate men and turn you into softer beta males, that is a plan. That is by design. That is not something that we just woke up one day and all these sisters started having beta males from alpha male seeds line. There's no way that just started taking place. And just to let you know that beta males, again, will always be a part of society is because, first off, they're necessary. And second of all, because when they get on the right track and they follow, in a sense, I'm using air quotes, and they follow the right people, then they can't be swayed from those people. Because a beta male is loyal to his following, to whoever he's following. So if that's not necessarily a negative thing. I'm not going to sit there and talk about that like that's the most evil thing in the world. But it is it is a hindrance when you start acting on these beta male feelings and there's no alphas checking you. Now, again, we said in the last video, there's rich alphas and there's poor betas, and there's damn sure probably way more rich betas than there are and more poor alpha males. Because alpha males buck authority that isn't their own. Alpha males buck authority that is not their own authority. Beta males have no problem following and kissing ass. What up, D Prince? So beta males have no problem following and kissing ass. They have no problem with allowing another man to just dictate their thoughts and actions wholly. So we don't get down like that, man. I don't roll like that. I don't think like that. And most alpha males don't think like that. An alpha male is not going to call a sister a bitch. In these days and times, is not going to sit there and call a sister a bitch, because first of all, when I get attitude from black women, I already know most of the time it's because they lost. I already know most of the time it's because you probably didn't even have no father or no strong grandfather or uncle around you to teach you that, hey man, it's okay for you to speak your voice, but letting you know from a real man's perspective, sometimes you need to curb that shit. Like, you didn't get that training. Some sisters, you can tell, got that training from being around their father and their brothers and their uncles. They learn that shit. They learn like, yo, I'm not weak because I learned how to curve my mouth. I just learned that you can't come off to all men like that. You can't do certain things to all men like that. You can't do everything however you may feel and however you interact. You can't interact with all men like that. Women learn that from being around real men. When you have brothers out here who I don't think they have good relationships with their mother, man. And I think that's a terrible thing for a beta male to not have a good relationship with his mother, because a beta male not having a good relationship with a woman, he's a woman hater. And there's no other way to put that. There's no other way to look at that. He's most definitely a woman hater. So when we're dealing with beta males, please understand, ladies, forgive them to a degree. You know what I'm saying? They're mentally sick and they don't know it. For you to take whatever someone says and run with it, something's mentally wrong with you. When it comes to the point of Tariq Nasheed, and we talked about his chat room, and it's been going around for a long time now. This ain't nothing new. That people been saying that Tariq Nasheed's chat or Tariq Nasheed audience is full of beta males who fucking dick ride and co-sign everything he says. And there's no way that you can co-sign everything that somebody says. There's no way that you guys are that much on the same point, that you guys are that much alike. Now, come on now. That's just unrealistic. But that's just a follower's mentality. And beta males are full of follower mentality. Beta males have no problem. They see nothing wrong, like I said, with disrespecting a woman to the degree of calling her a bitch online. Like, you don't even know this woman. You don't even know this sister. Anytime they're checked by a woman, and I say check meaning you made a mistake and your correction was given by a woman. It was a check by a woman who checked your work and checked your statements or checked your facts and seen that it wasn't true. Boy, they can't stand that shit. They can't stand that shit. So it's like, that's what we're dealing with here. A bunch of dudes who are soft, a bunch of dudes who feel like, hey, it's okay for me to take on the characteristics of a woman, and if I even get addressed or checked about it, I'm going to act even more like a woman and bitch and complain and all that type of bullshit. Again, society is making them this way. It's not something that they just jumped up and decided to do. It's a whole, life has too many variables in it for it to be just one way or the other. And that's where it is with me with the beta males. It's not just one way or the other. I just think that some of them probably can be coached out of the betaism. Hopefully some of them can be brought out of betaism. But that's what we're looking at there. Now, let me move on because I got a bunch of videos to make today, guys. So, and my house is quiet, so I'm going to do it. But I have to address not only the beta males, they're female accusers. Now, when I talk about a beta male female accuser, what do I mean by that? What do I, we clearly define beta male. Now let us define what a beta male accuser is. Especially a female accuser. We have beta male female accusers who have a sense of consciousness and a sense of what's going on and a sense of telling between 2 to 3 or how many other different men that this guy is an alpha dude and this guy is not. Okay? There's no malice involved. There's no ill intent, ill will involved. There's nothing involved in her statements that she's making about these men that have anything to do with her wanting to shame them, belittle them, or anything of that nature. Okay, so some sisters call brothers beta males because in fact they are beta male. Some sisters are able to detect that, and they also know that beta male grew up in this society which is predicated, motherfucking whatever polite word you want to use, basically made up to create beta males. That's why she likes fucking with an alpha male, because it matter whether he's rich or poor, because they're attracted to alpha males more. It's not that hard to see through, man. The problem that I have with is the other females who throw that term beta male out there, who have malice and ill intent mixed up in everything that they're saying. Nothing that they're saying is for a positive outcome or for a teaching moment. All the things that whenever they accuse black men of being a beta male, it's all for public shaming. It's none of that shit. Those are the women that I have a problem with. And those are generally the women who cannot seem to find and or keep a dude in a relationship, and she knows that it's generally based off of her own shitty disposition. But she'll take her she'll ignore her shitty disposition, she'll mask that, and then turn around and say, well, I'm not the problem. The problem is there ain't no strong men, all these beta male ass niggas out here. No. Let's not do that. Okay? That's disingenuous. And right now, we need to be genuine. Okay? That's disingenuous. You can't keep a man or have a man not because it's a bunch of beta males that you running into. It's because of your crappy disposition generally around these people. Human beings generally do not like being around other human beings that bring them down. That bring them down in a general lay sense is, I can never be at peace and or have a good time around you. So, if that is the case and that's the situation, a lot of men, especially alphas. See, a beta male will put up with your shit long before an alpha would. They'll just deal with it in different manners. An alpha male knows that I don't need to argue with my lady. You want to know why I don't need to argue with my lady? Because if I remove myself from her presence, just, you know what, guys? You know what? I'm gone. If I remove myself from her presence, do not accept her phone calls, do not call her, I'm doing way more damage to that woman than calling her a bitch and a trick and a thought ass, weave wearing, whatever the fuck. And before I continue on the sisters who accuse people of being beta males, that weave shit. If you're talking about somebody having weave, that is the most ridiculous shit that I have ever heard. And I'm going to say this one more time. That is the most petty, telltale sign that you are a beta male. Because I'm just going from personal experience. I cannot give y'all the experience of Tasha Pope because I am not her. I cannot give you the experience of Farrakhan. I am not him. I can only give you the experiences of me. Okay? The experiences of me and what I've seen in life. The black women that I've seen with white men, dating white men, 9 out of 10 of them that I know, I'm going to go with the personals that I know, 9 out of 10 of them have natural hairdos. I rarely and or never see sisters with makeup, weave, who dress a certain way, act a certain way, just with a white man, especially because she loves him. No, he's probably getting worked. And then she takes that money back to Lamarte Quante, you know what I'm saying, who she loved and who she'll kill and die for and do anything for. I've seen that a lot. I've never seen a sister who wears weave, makeup, like basically the regular, what we would call now a traditional sister is one who wear weave and makeup because I've been doing it for so long. So what? Gives a fuck, nigga. That doesn't change anything. I don't understand that shit. When I look at you and I see your hips and I see that ass and I see your lips, nigga, I ain't thinking about no weave. I am not thinking about, she don't look natural enough for me. Yeah, right. I bet you when she take them clothes off, it'll be natural enough for your ass. You niggas talking about some motherfucking hair weave, man. Like, really, G? That is like the most petty shit I could fucking think of, man. That is the most petty shit I could think of, man. That's like somebody going to a damn porno site because he's about to masturbate and he's only looking for, now I don't want to see none of these big booty sisters with no weave. I need to see the big booty sisters with afros. Like, what's the difference? You sound crazy. There's no difference to me. So please, man, cut that weave shit out, man. It's fucking stupid. It's petty. And it's not going to get us anywhere. It actually makes you look even worse than you think it does. Like, for the people who argue for that shit, This is who I be talking to generally. I don't like preaching to the choir. I like saying things to get to the people who just heard me for the first time. I'm not bashing you because you feel you don't want to fuck with a sister who don't have natural hair or rock her natural self. I am not knocking that shit. That is your personal opinion, and that is something that you can hold on to and move forward with. There's nothing wrong with that shit. But the problem comes in when you start making it an overarching rule. Like, no, and not only are you making it a rule, you're applying it to people that you cannot apply it to because you don't have any authority over them. Then also, you're taking the shit and you're applying it to people who you probably shouldn't do that to. Like I said, I've seen more black women who have little afros, a natural low cut. If she has short hair or not too long hair, she rocks long hair. I mean, the short hair. Like, yo, I don't understand that shit, G. I don't understand, like, what's the big deal about the weave when I see more of those natural hair sisters fucking with white dudes than I do the opposite. You talking about a sister with weave and all that, at least she there for you. She still fucking with you. She love you. Stop this gender war, hinder war shit, man, because it's just a hinder war. Check your own self. Any person who cannot check themselves and self-examine themselves and daily don't criticize themselves with the same fervor that you criticize other people, like I will criticize myself with the same fervor that I will criticize someone else with. So you need to do that. That beta male shit, they don't do that shit. They act like the grandmother or mother who raised them. Single woman. Now, I don't knock her for acting the way she acts because she's a woman. But I knock you for copying it. Women talk about other women's hair. I'm going to just put that out there. And I'm about to move back on to the sisters who accuse them. But finishing up on this weave thing, women talk about other women's hair. I don't understand no dude who's a whole man who wants to have conversations about a sister's hair, about a woman's fucking hair, G. I don't talk. When my lady gets her hair done, it's either natural or she putting shit in it. So when she comes looking, and when I look at her hair, and she comes show me her hair, whatever, look at this, blah, 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 blah. I always say, hey, I like your hair when it's natural because it looks the best to me. But whatever. Sometimes she'll rock it natural. Sometimes she won't. I don't understand, nigga, because I don't care. It's just hair. The only reason I even comment on it because she's a woman and she's my lady and I have to comment about her hair. But other than that, I would never fucking say anything about her hair because I don't give a shit about her hair. The hell? So how is niggas out here making whole videos and whole mantras and whole stances about some hair? Y'all about to make me pull my other phone out or turn my computer on and give a shame. That shit's crazy, man. Stop that nonsense, man. Stop talking about women hair because the only people that I know that talk about women's hair, about women hair, are other women. So if any man talking about hair weaves and all this bullshit, you sound ridiculous. Not to mention I've seen far more women, black women with afros and low cuts and natural hair dudes fucking with white dudes ever than I've ever seen a woman like Cynthia G with a woman. Really? So finishing up, we're gonna start with the we're going to end this with the female accusers. We got beta males. And then we got their female accusers. And what I want to know is there a difference? And I think that there is. I think that there's some people who accuse because she just naturally sees it in them and is just making an observation. And there's no malice and ill intent behind it. and not tricking yourself into thinking there's no malice or ill intent behind it, but really knowing that there's no malice or ill intent behind it. So I respect that. The other ones that I have a problem with are whenever a woman's actions are addressed, she wants to call somebody a beta male or a simp. Whenever she wants to make an excuse for her not being able to have a functioning relationship with a man, and because of her own shitty disposition, she wants to refer to someone as simpy and beta male ass niggas and this, that, and the third. So I think that there's an issue with beta males and there's an issue with their female accusers. I think their female accusers need to be scrutinized just as much as the beta male. If we are directed to a beta male and we're examining this beta male, if we're examining him, the women who are accusing him of being a beta male need to be examined as well. Okay? That's all I'm saying, because it's fair and it's an adult way to do things and it has nothing to do with a penis or a vagina. So that's not another one of those women who don't need to be calling people names, especially beta males. You can watch out for them. Those who like to say things like, well, you're comparing yourself to a woman. If I'm talking about certain shitty, fucked up actions from a human, I'm not talking about his a penis or her vagina. I'm talking about if you're an arrogant asshole, that can transcend genders. If you're a kind-hearted individual, that transcends gender. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. People who throw out accusations, women who call men beta males and simps and all that, if she's coming from a place of malice, you need to watch her. If she's not coming from a place of malice, it's probably just an observation from being around men. She probably had a lot of brothers who were alpha dudes, so she can tell. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Go to my links and order a t-shirt. And I'll be back at y'all in a little bit.